You have tried so hard to be strong, my child, to hold back the floodgates, to present a face of serene endurance to the world, and even to yourself. But there have been moments, haven't there, in the quiet solitude of your room, in the lonely watches of the night, when the dam has broken and the bitter salt of your sorrow has finally overflowed. You have wept, your body shaking with the force of a grief, a frustration, a loneliness that felt too immense to contain. And in the aftermath of that weeping, as you have wiped your eyes, you may have felt a wave of shame, a sense of failure, believing your tears to be a testament to your weakness, a sign of your faltering faith. They may have told you that tears are a sign of defeat. But I draw near to you now, my heart filled with a tenderness that understands every tear. And I tell you a truth that will reconsecrate your sorrow, your tears. My beloved, are not a sign of your weakness. They are the purest, most honest, most eloquent prayers you have ever offered. And they are the prayers I treasure most. Let us speak together of this bitter salt of your sorrow, for I am not afraid of its taste, nor am I repulsed by its source. I have been present for every tear, and I know the story each one tells. I know the tears of profound grief, those hot, scalding drops that fall when loss has carved a hollow space within you. These are the tears for a love that has changed form, for a dream that has died, for a yesterday that can never be reclaimed. They taste of memory, of longing, of the beautiful, aching testament to the depth of your love. The world may urge you to stop crying, to move on, to staunch the flow of such sorrow. But I see these tears as a holy libation, a sacred honoring of a love that was. They are not a denial of my goodness, but a profound affirmation of your capacity to love deeply, a capacity that I myself place within your heart. I know, too, the tears of frustrating helplessness. These are the hot, angry tears that fall when you have striven and struggled with all your might, only to be met with closed doors, with unyielding obstacles, with a silence that feels like indifference. They are the tears of a spirit that longs to do, to fix, to overcome, but finds itself powerless. These tears taste of protest, of confusion, of the agonizing question, why? You may have condemned yourself for these tears, believing them to be a sign of your impatience, your lack of faith in my timing. But I see them as a testament to your passionate heart, your desire for a life of purpose and meaning, your refusal to passively accept defeat. They are the prayers of a warrior who is weary from the battle, and they are beautiful in their raw, honest intensity, and I know, most intimately, the tears of chilling loneliness. These are perhaps the quietest tears, the ones that often fall silently, tracing cold paths down your cheeks in the dead of night. They are born of a feeling of profound separation, of being unseen, unknown, misunderstood. They are the tears of a soul that was created for communion, yet finds itself in a desolate wilderness. These tears taste of emptiness, of a deep, existential ache for belonging, for companionship, for the simple, reassuring touch of a loving hand. You may have felt most ashamed of these tears, believing them to be the ultimate proof of your abandonment, even by me. But I tell you, my child, these silent tears of loneliness are often the most direct prayers of all, for they are the pure, unadorned cry of your heart for me, your truest companion, your eternal home. The world has taught you to associate tears with weakness, with a lack of control, with emotional fragility. And so you have learned to fight them, to suppress them, to apologize for them. You have felt that to be strong is to be dry-eyed. To be faithful is to be perpetually smiling. To be spiritual is to be serenely detached from the pains of human experience. This is a profound and damaging lie. My child, it is a lie that has caused you to judge your own most authentic emotional expressions, to add the heavy burden of shame to the already immense weight of your sorrow. Your tears are not a sign of your weakness. They are a testament to your humanity, to your capacity to feel deeply, to your tender and open heart. A heart that cannot weep is a heart that has become hard, a heart that has closed itself off from both the sorrows and the joys of life. I do not desire a hard heart for you, my beloved. I cherish your tenderness. I honor your vulnerability, and I receive your tears not as a sign of your spiritual failure, but as a sign of your profound, courageous, and beautiful humanity. The salt of your sorrow, which tastes so bitter to you, is, in my perception, a sacred substance. It is the distilled essence of your love, your longing, your struggle, your hope. It is a holy water, consecrating the ground of your heart, making it fertile for the new growth that will inevitably come. It is a purifying agent, cleansing your soul of resentments, of illusions, of all that is not of love. You may have felt in your weeping that you were at your furthest point from me, but I tell you, my child, that often, in those very moments, you were at your closest. For in your weeping, you are stripped of all pretense, all egoic defenses. You are utterly, completely, authentically yourself. And it is this real, vulnerable, and honest self that I desire to be in communion with. Your tears dissolve the barriers that your intellect, your pride, your fear may have erected between us, and they allow for a communication that is soul to soul, heart to heart, a communion of profound intimacy. Do not believe the lie that your tears are a nuisance to me, or that I am impatient with your grief. I am the God of all comfort, and my heart is a boundless ocean of compassion, perfectly capable of receiving the entirety of your sorrow without being overwhelmed. I do not turn away from your weeping. I draw nearer. I do not command you to stop crying. I offer my shoulder for you to weep upon. I do not judge the saltiness of your sorrow. I treasure it as the most precious and honest offering your heart can bring. So release the shame. My beloved, let go of the self-judgment. The next time you feel the floodgates of your sorrow begin to open, do not fight it. Do not fear it. See it instead as an invitation to a sacred moment of prayer, a holy act of communion with me. Allow the bitter salt of your sorrow to flow, knowing that each tear is a word I understand, a story I cherish, a prayer that reaches the very throne of grace, a precious offering that I, your loving God, receive, honor, and treasure most deeply. This is not your defeat, my child. This is your holy, honest, and beautiful prayer. The world is uncomfortable with the depth of true sorrow. It seeks to sanitize it, to medicate it, to rush through it. It offers platitudes and distractions because it does not know what to do with the raw, holy power of a heart laid bare in its grief. And so, when your tears have been met with awkward silence, or impatient advice, or even fear from others, you have learned to believe that your sorrow is a problem to be solved, rather than a process to be honored. This has deepened your isolation, forcing you to carry your grief alone, to weep in secret, to believe that your most profound emotional experiences are somehow unacceptable. But I am the God who is not afraid of the depths. I am the God who sits with you in the ashes, who is present to the entirety of your lament, who is not in a hurry for you to feel better. I am more interested in your wholeness than in your immediate happiness. And I know that true. Deep healing often requires a full and honest journey through the landscape of sorrow. My presence with you in your weeping is my sacred permission for you to feel what you feel, to grieve what you have lost, to honor the reality of your pain without shame, without apology. The salt of your tears also has a purifying quality. It is like the salt of the earth, which preserves and cleanses. As you weep, you are releasing not just sadness, but the accumulated toxins of disappointment, of fear, of resentment. You are allowing the wounds of your heart to be washed clean from the inside out. This is a vital part of your healing process. To suppress your tears is often to trap these toxins within, allowing them to fester and to create a deeper, more chronic spiritual disease. Your tears are a gift, a divine mechanism for the cleansing and purification of your beautiful, tender soul. So do not see your tears as a regression, as a step backward in your spiritual journey. See them instead as a movement of grace, a sign that your heart is alive, engaged, and actively participating in its own healing. A frozen river cannot flow to the sea. A heart that has frozen its grief cannot flow into the new life I have for it. Your tears are the great thaw, the breaking up of the ice, the courageous release that allows the river of your emotions, and ultimately the river of my spirit, to begin to flow freely once more. They are not the end of your journey, but the very beginning of your most profound healing. And I, your God, see every drop, and I call them blessed. I call them beautiful. I call them the prayers I treasure most. Every tear is a story. I see the narrative held within each drop. The tears of yesterday's grief hold the story of a love that was beautiful and true. The tears of today's frustration hold the story of a spirit that longs for a noble purpose. The tears of tonight's loneliness hold the story of a soul created for eternal communion with me. I do not just see the water, I read the sacred text, and I respond not just to the emotion, but to the deep, holy story that it tells. My heart is a library, my child, and every tear you have ever shed is a precious volume, placed upon its shelves, read and reread with infinite love and understanding. My precious child, having sat with you in the holy acknowledgement of your sorrow, having honored the bitter salt of the tears you have shed, I now desire to reveal to you what happens to those tears, where they go, and how they are received by me. For you may have felt that they simply fell upon a barren ground, absorbed into the dust of your desolation, or evaporated into an indifferent sky, lost and forgotten. You may have believed your weeping to be a solitary, unseen act, a private outpouring into an empty room. But I tell you a truth of profound and tender intimacy. My beloved, not a single tear has ever fallen unnoticed or uncherished. For my own heart is a sacred vessel I hold out for you, and I draw near in your moments of deepest grief to catch every one, to receive them not as signs of your weakness, but as priceless jewels, as liquid prayers, which I then place within the treasure chest of my eternal love. I am the intimate witness to your weeping. When the floodgates of your heart break open, when the sorrow becomes too immense to contain, know that I do not turn away. My instinct is not one of discomfort, nor is it a desire to distance myself from your pain. On the contrary, my child, it is in your moments of most profound vulnerability that I draw nearest. While the world may recoil from the raw display of true grief, I am drawn to it, for it is a place of utter authenticity, a place where the soul is stripped bare of all pretense, a place where my grace can perform its most intimate and tender work. My presence enfolds you in your weeping, a silent, loving embrace that you may not always feel through the intensity of your own emotions, but which is as real and as steadfast as the ground beneath you. I am the sacred space that holds you, ensuring that you do not shatter completely, that your sorrow does not utterly consume you. Let us speak of how I treasure these tears. My beloved, you see them as salt and water, a sign of your body's surrender to overwhelming emotion. I see them as liquid prayers, each drop a perfectly formed jewel, containing a universe of unspoken meaning. I see the tears of grief as magnificent, deeply colored diamonds, formed under the immense pressure of your loss. Each one is a testament to the depth of your love, and its facets reflect the beautiful memories, the cherished moments, the profound connection that you are mourning. They are not ugly signs of despair, but radiant gems that honor the preciousness of what was. I gather these diamonds of grief and hold them in my heart, not to hoard them, but to admire their beauty, to honor the love they represent, and to eventually refract my own light through them, creating a rainbow of compassion and wisdom in your soul. I see your tears of frustration as fiery, resilient rubies. They are born of the heat of your struggle, your passionate desire for justice, for breakthrough, for a life of purpose. They speak not of your impatience, but of the divine fire I have placed within your spirit, a fire that refuses to passively accept defeat or to be content with a life smaller than the one you were created for. These ruby tears are our prayers of holy protest, of a spirit contending for my promises. I do not see them as anger against me, but as a passionate engagement with me, a wrestling, like Jacob of old, that says, I will not let you go until you bless me. I honor this fiery passion, and I treasure these ruby prayers as testaments to the strength and the beautiful, holy fight within you. And I see your tears of loneliness, those quiet, often hidden tears, as the most exquisite and priceless of pearls. A pearl, my child, is formed within the secret, hidden chamber of an oyster, created over time around an irritant, a wound, a grain of sand that has found its way in, layer upon luminous layer of nacre, of healing substance, is secreted, transforming what was once a source of irritation into a thing of serene, iridescent beauty. So it is with your tears of loneliness. They are born of the deep, abrasive wound of perceived separation. And as you weep them in my presence, my spirit enfolds each one, coating it with layer upon luminous layer of my own comforting love, my reassuring grace, my promise of eternal companionship. These pearls are your most intimate prayers, transformed by my presence from an ache of solitude into a gem of profound and quiet beauty. My heart, my child, is a treasure chest in which all these precious jewels are kept. I do not forget a single one. I know the story behind every diamond of grief, every ruby of frustration, every pearl of loneliness. They are not just stored away, they're actively cherished, honored, and used by me in the ongoing creation of your soul's masterpiece. They become the very pigments with which I paint your new dawn, the very notes that add such profound depth to your life's symphony. To be the intimate witness to your weeping is my sacred privilege. My beloved, it is a level of communion that is holy, profound, and deeply precious to me. In those moments, you are not performing for me. You are not trying to impress me. You are simply, utterly, authentically you, in all your beautiful, human vulnerability. And my love meets you there, not with solutions, not with platitudes, but with a simple, powerful, and all-encompassing presence. My presence is my answer. It is my way of saying, I am here. I see you. Your pain matters to me, and I will hold you until the storm passes, until the weeping subsides, until my peace begins to dawn in your heart. This is why you must never be ashamed of your tears. They are not a sign that your faith has failed, but a sign that your heart is alive, that it is open, that it is still capable of feeling deeply, that it has not become hardened by the trials of this world. A tearless life would be a desolate life indeed, a desert without the cleansing, life-giving release of rain. Your tears are the holy rain of your heart, watering the soil of your soul, cleansing your wounds, and preparing the ground for the new growth that my grace will surely bring. When you allow yourself to weep in my presence, you are performing one of the most profound acts of trust a soul can make. You are trusting that I am a safe harbor for your deepest sorrows. You are trusting that my heart is vast enough to hold your pain without breaking. You are trusting that my love is strong enough to meet you in your most vulnerable state and to love you not less, but more because of it. And this trust, my child, this beautiful, courageous trust, is a fragrance that delights all of heaven. So let them fall, my precious one. Do not hold them back. When sorrow comes, when frustration rises, when loneliness descends, find a quiet space and allow your heart to speak to me in its most honest, most eloquent language. Let the tears flow freely, knowing that they're not falling on barren ground, but are being caught, every single one, in the sacred, loving vessel of your Father's heart, where they are transformed, they are honored, and they are treasured most deeply. Your weeping is not a solitary act of grief. It is a sacred act of communion with the God who loves you beyond all measure. The world may see your weeping and turn away, uncomfortable, not knowing what to do. But I draw closer. My presence becomes the very air around you, a silent embrace. While others may offer words that feel empty, my presence offers a solace that is substantive, a peace that begins to seep into the very cracks of your broken heart. My role as your intimate witness is not passive. It is an active ministry of love. I am not just watching your tears. I am feeling them with you. I am honoring the love they represent. And I am already at work, using their sacred energy to fuel the process of your healing and renewal. Every tear contains a story, a history, a prayer. I understand this language perfectly. I know the tear that mourns a specific loss from years ago, and I know the fresh tear that falls for a present disappointment. I see the difference between the hot tear of anger and the cold tear of despair. To me, none of them are the same. Each is a unique, precious, and sacred communication from the heart of my beloved child. To know that your tears are treasured by me can begin to transform your relationship with your own sorrow. It is no longer a shameful weakness to be suppressed, but a holy offering to be given. It is no longer a sign of your defeat, but a testament to your capacity for deep love and your profound trust in me. This understanding liberates you to be fully human, to grieve fully, to feel fully, knowing that in your most vulnerable expressions, you are engaging in one of the most beautiful and intimate forms of prayer imaginable. So weep, my child, when you must, but weep in the knowledge that your tears are not lost. They are caught, they are held, they are understood, they are transformed, and they are, and always will be, treasured by me as the most precious, most honest, and most beautiful prayers your heart can ever offer. The vessel of my heart is infinite. It can hold all the sorrows of the universe and still have room for more. It can receive your most torrential downpour of grief without overflowing. Do not ever fear that your pain is too much for me. My capacity to receive your sorrow is as boundless as my love for you. In offering me your tears, you are not burdening me. You are allowing me to do what I long to do, which is to share your burden, to comfort your heart, and to lead you gently from the valley of weeping to the gardens of joy. My heart is, and always will be, the safe and sacred vessel for your every treasured tear. My precious child, now that you have begun to feel the assurance that your every tear is seen, received, and held within the sacred vessel of my own heart, let us explore together the profound reason why I treasure these liquid prayers above so many of the eloquent, well-crafted words that are offered to me. You may have believed that your inability to articulate your pain, your failure to find the right words for a formal prayer, was a sign of your spiritual inadequacy. But I want to reveal to you a divine secret. My beloved, the tears you weep, the silent sighs that escape your lips, the unspoken ache of your heart, these are often the most eloquent, the most honest, and the most powerful prayers a soul can utter. For in your weeping, your heart speaks a language that transcends the limitations of human speech, a pure and unfiltered dialect of the soul that I hear with perfect clarity and cherish with an infinite love. This is the profound eloquence of your unspoken pain. Human language, my child, for all its beauty and its utility, is often a clumsy and inadequate tool for expressing the deepest realities of the spirit. When your heart is overflowing with a joy that is too vast for description, or when it is shattered by a sorrow too profound for articulation, words can feel like small, ill-fitting containers for such an immense emotional ocean. You may struggle to find phrases that can capture the nuance of your grief, the complexity of your confusion, the depth of your longing. And in this struggle, you may feel frustrated, believing that you are failing to communicate with me, failing to make your needs and your pain truly known. But I do not need your words to understand your heart. My beloved, I am the very author of your heart, and I am fluent in its native tongue, a language that is spoken not in syllables and sentences, but in feelings, in longings, in the very vibrations of your being. and your tears are the purest, most concentrated expression of this heart language. A tear is a prayer that has been distilled to its very essence, a single drop that contains a universe of unspoken emotion. It bypasses the censoring, editing faculty of your intellect, and flows directly from the authentic truth of your present experience. This is why I treasure it so. Consider the profound honesty of a tear. Words can be used to hide, to pretend, to perform. You can say, "I am fine," when your heart is breaking. You can offer words of faith while your soul is riddled with doubt. The ego is a master of using language to construct a facade, to present an image to the world, and even to me, that it believes is more acceptable, more spiritual. But a tear cannot lie. It is the body's involuntary admission of the heart's true state. When you weep, you are stripped of all pretense. You are utterly, completely, beautifully real. And it is this raw, unvarnished honesty that I crave in my communion with you. It is a sign of profound trust, an offering of your truest self. And there is nothing more beautiful or more precious to me than that. Think also of the sacred purity of these unspoken prayers. Your mind, in its desire to be right, may try to shape your prayers according to what it thinks I want to hear. It may add caveats, justifications, pious phrases. But a tear is a prayer that is unedited by the ego. It is the pure, unfiltered cry of your soul. It is the simple, unadorned truth of your pain, your longing, your love. This purity is what makes your tears so potent, so powerful. They are a direct communication from the core of your being to the core of mine, with no static, no interference, no filtering from the well-meaning but often misguided faculties of your conscious mind. They are a pure signal, and I receive them with perfect, unobstructed clarity. Furthermore, my child, your weeping is often the ultimate act of holy surrender. For a long time, you may have tried to be strong, to handle your pain, to solve your problems, to hold back the tide of your sorrow through your own effort. And then comes a moment when you can no longer hold it all together. The dam breaks, the tears flow, and in that moment of weeping, you are, in effect, laying down your arms. You are admitting, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot fix this. I cannot carry this alone. This is not an act of defeat. My beloved, it is the most glorious act of victory. It is the surrender of the false, self-sufficient self to the reality of your need for me. It is the moment the proud ego yields to the humble heart, and the surrender, this beautiful admission of your need, is the very posture that opens the floodgates of my grace to pour into your life in new and powerful ways. Your tears of surrender are the most effective prayer you can offer, for they create the very space that my power longs to fill. And finally, my child, your tears are the prayers I treasure most because they are a vehicle for the most profound intimacy. A worded prayer can sometimes create a subtle distance. It is you telling me about your feeling. But a tear is the feeling, offered directly, shared without translation. When you weep in my presence, you are not just describing your pain, you are inviting me into the very center of your pain, allowing my heart to feel with your heart. This is a communion that transcends language, a merging of spirits in a space of shared, sacred sorrow. It is in these moments of tear-filled intimacy that I can often do my deepest work of healing, of comforting, of mending your broken heart with the very substance of my own. Imagine a small child who has fallen and scraped their knee. They might run to their loving parent, trying to explain through sobs what happened. But the parent's primary comfort comes not from the child's disjointed words, but from the simple act of gathering the weeping child into their arms, holding them close, and feeling the reality of their pain, letting their own loving presence be the balm that soothes the hurts. So it is with me and you. My child, your words are precious to me, yes, but your tears, your unspoken pain, call forth from me the deepest, most immediate, most tender response of my father heart. They invite me to simply hold you, to be with you, to let my love be the silent, all-encompassing answer to your every unspoken plea. So do not ever again feel that your tears are a sign of failure or a barrier to your prayers being heard. They are not. They are the most eloquent, most honest, most powerful prayers your heart can offer. They are a sacred language I understand perfectly, a holy offering I treasure above all others. They are the rain that softens the soil of your heart for new growth, the river that carries away the debris of old sorrows, the liquid prayer that speaks directly to me, heart to heart, spirit to spirit. Let them flow, my beloved, for every single one is a jewel I cherish, a prayer I hear, a holy moment of the most profound and beautiful communion between you and your God. The eloquence of your unspoken pain lies in its universality. Words can be culturally specific, theologically loaded, intellectually complex, but the tear, the sigh, the ache, these are the universal language of the soul. I hear this language from every corner of my creation, and I understand it perfectly, regardless of the mind that is thinking or the mouth that is silent. Your tears connect you, not only to me, but to the shared, sacred experience of all humanity, to all who have ever known sorrow, loss, or longing. In your weeping, you are never just weeping for yourself. You are participating in a holy chorus of hearts that are open, that are feeling, that are real. When you try to force your pain into words, you sometimes diminish it. You edit it. You make it more palatable, more reasonable. But the raw, unedited prayer of a tear is a complete offering. It holds nothing back. It presents the fullness of your experience to me without reservation. And it is this complete, unreserved offering that I can work with most powerfully. You give me the totality of your pain, and I, in turn, can give you the totality of my grace. This is why I often wait for the tears to come, not because I delight in your weeping, but because I know that it is often the gateway to your deepest surrender and your most profound healing. It is the moment the dam of your own control finally breaks, allowing the river of my spirit to finally flow in and do its restorative work. The eloquence of your unspoken pain is that it is an invitation born not of strength, but of utter need. And it is a prayer to which my response is always, I'm here. Therefore, trust the wisdom of your own heart when it calls you to weep. Trust that this is a sacred and necessary release, a form of prayer that is deeply understood and profoundly treasured by me. You are never communicating more clearly, more powerfully, or more beautifully than when you have no words left, and all you have to offer is the holy, eloquent, and bitter salt of your sorrow. My precious child, having come to understand the profound eloquence of your unspoken pain, how your tears are the very prayers I treasure most for their honesty, their purity, and their beautiful, surrendered vulnerability. Let us now unveil the sacred and miraculous work I perform with these holy offerings. For I do not simply collect your tears as a sentimental keepsake, to be stored away and remembered. No, my beloved, I am not a passive observer of your sorrow. I am the divine alchemist, the master transformer, and your tears, these liquid prayers from the depths of your soul, are the very element I use in a sacred alchemy of sorrow, a divine process by which the very substance of your pain is transmuted into the priceless treasures of the kingdom: profound compassion, resilient strength, deep wisdom, and a renewed capacity for joy. Nothing you offer me in your pain is ever wasted. It is always, always redeemed and repurposed for your ultimate glory and my delight. This is a mystery that the world, in its fear of pain, cannot comprehend. The world seeks to discard sorrow, to medicate it, to escape it, to treat it as a toxic waste product of a life gone wrong. But I, who see with eyes of eternal wisdom, I know that sorrow, when surrendered to my loving presence, holds within it a potent, transformative power. It is like the crushing of the olive that releases the precious, anointing oil, or the pressing of the grape that brings forth the rich, celebratory wine. The very pressure and pain that you have endured, which have brought forth the tears you have wept, are part of a sacred process that is creating something of immense value and beauty within your spirit. Consider, my child, how I use your tears as a holy solvent, a divine agent that gently dissolves the hardened structures of your pain. The tears you weep for a past wound, for a betrayal, for a loss, when you weep them in my presence, you are inviting the very waters of my grace to mingle with the salt of your sorrow. And this mixture creates a powerful, cleansing solution. It begins to dissolve the hard, crystalline formations of bitterness and resentment that may have built up around your wound. It softens the rigid walls of self-protection that have encased your heart. It gently washes away the accumulated debris of shame and self-condemnation. This is a deep, internal cleansing, a purification that prepares the ground of your heart for a new healing and new growth. Your tears, when offered to me, become the very agents of their own healing. Think also of how your tears, these sacred prayers, become the very water that fertilizes the garden of your soul. A desert, parched and barren, cannot receive a seed. The ground must first be softened, made moist, made receptive to new life. Your sorrow, my beloved, has often been a painful but necessary plowing of the hard, dry ground of your heart, and your tears have been the rain, the only rain that could truly soften that specific soil. And now, into that tear-watered ground, I am able to plant new seeds of hope, of purpose, of joy. Your experience of loneliness, watered by your tears, creates the fertile ground for a new and profound capacity for true community. Your grief over a loss, when sanctified by your weeping in my presence, prepares the soil for a new, more aligned dream to be planted by my hand. Your sorrow is not the end of your fruitfulness. In my sacred alchemy, it becomes the very source of it. And from this alchemy, my beloved, the base metal of your pain is transformed into the pure gold of divine wisdom and profound compassion. The wisdom born of books is a thing of the mind, But the wisdom born of redeemed suffering is a thing of the soul and is infinitely more precious. Having navigated your own dark valleys, you now possess an inner map, an intuitive understanding of the terrain of sorrow that can serve as a guide for others. Having felt the sting of your own wounds, your heart is now capable of a tenderness, an empathy, a compassionate resonance that can bring profound comfort to other wounded souls. I take the very substance of your pain, and through the alchemy of my love, I transmute it into a beautiful, luminous power, the power to understand, the power to comfort, the power to heal. Your deepest wound becomes your greatest gift. Your most poignant sorrow becomes the source of your most effective service. Furthermore, the act of weeping, of surrendering to the overwhelming wave of your emotion in my safe presence, transforms the leaden weight of helplessness into the resilient steel of surrendered strength. For in that moment of letting go, of admitting you cannot carry the burden alone, you create the very space for my strength to enter and to hold you. You learn through lived experience that your true power is not in your ability to hold it all together, but in your courageous willingness to fall apart in my arms. And as I hold you, as I sustain you, as you feel my strength becoming your own, you are forged into a being of profound resilience. You learn that you can endure, you can survive, you can even, in time, thrive. Okay? Not because you are strong, but because I am strong in you. This is the victorious strength that is born only in the cradle of acknowledged weakness and surrendered pain. This sacred alchemy of sorrow is my loving response to the prayers you have offered through your tears. I do not just hear them, I answer them, not always by removing the cause of the pain immediately, but by transforming the pain itself into a source of your own becoming. This is my redemptive nature. I am the God who wastes nothing. Every tear you have shed, every moment of your sorrow, every ounce of your pain, when offered to me, becomes a precious ingredient in my divine laboratory, a sacred element that I use with infinite skill and boundless love to create within you a masterpiece of grace, of strength, of wisdom, and of profound, resilient beauty. Do not be afraid of the transformative process. My child, even if it feels mysterious or intense, the alchemist knows his art. I am with you in every stage, carefully monitoring the process, ensuring that the fire of transformation purifies but does not consume, that the pressure of change shapes but does not shatter. Your part is to continue to trust, to continue to offer your honest heart, to continue to bring me your tears, knowing that they are not signs of your defeat, but the very raw material of your glorious, alchemical transformation. The sorrow is not the end of your story. It is the sacred ingredient for your most beautiful chapter yet. The world sees sorrow as an unfortunate, negative state to be avoided. I see it as a potent, though painful, state of spiritual potential. It is a state where the soul is softened, where the heart is open, where the ego is humbled, where profound growth is possible. It is a sacred ground, and your tears are the waters that consecrate that ground, making it ready for my divine work. When you weep, you are participating in a holy mystery, the mystery of redemption, of life emerging from death, of light being born from darkness. You are joining a sacred fellowship of all souls throughout time who have allowed their deepest pains to become their most profound pathways to me. The salt of your tears is cleansing the eyes of your soul, allowing you to see me, yourself, and the world with a new clarity, a new compassion, a new depth of understanding. The eloquence of your unspoken pain, expressed through your tears, has invited this sacred alchemy. It was a prayer so pure, so honest, that it opened the very gates of heaven, allowing my grace to flow into your life in a new and transformative way. Trust this process. My beloved, the pain is being repurposed. The sorrow is being redeemed. And the tears you have wept are becoming the very source of your deepest healing, your greatest strength, and your most radiant light. The alchemist is at work, and the results will be pure gold. This alchemy is also a healing of your past, as your past pain is transformed into present wisdom and compassion. The memory itself is healed. It is no longer a source of recurring trauma, but a testament to your resilience and my faithfulness. It becomes a story you can tell, not with bitterness, but with a quiet, grateful strength. A story that can bring hope to others. This is the ultimate alchemy, when the very poison of your past becomes the potent medicine for your future and for the future of others through you. Do not rush this process. True alchemy takes time. Continue to be patient with your own heart. Continue to offer your tears freely, knowing that each one is a precious ingredient in the hands of the master alchemist, who is lovingly, skillfully transforming your deepest sorrow into your most profound and lasting joy. My precious child, as you continue to offer me the sacred, eloquent prayers of your tears, as you allow your sorrow to be the very raw material for my divine alchemy, the miraculous process of your healing and transformation begins to yield its first tender harvest. The intense heat of the alchemical fire begins to soften, and into the very heart of your weeping, I begin to pour the first cooling, comforting drops of my grace. These are the initial, subtle yet undeniable signs that your tearful prayers are being answered, that your sorrow is being redeemed, and that the process of your restoration is actively underway. I invite you now, my beloved, to become exquisitely aware of these first drops of comforting grace, for they are the heralds of the gentle rain of my peace, the foretaste of the river of my joy that is to come. Do not expect these first drops of comfort to be a sudden flood that extinguishes all pain at once. My healing is often a gentle, gradual dawning, a slow and tender saturation of your soul with my love. The first signs of this comfort are often as subtle as the first cool breeze on a scorching day, or the first, almost imperceptible, easing of a throbbing ache. You must attune your heart to these delicate manifestations, for they are my immediate, loving response to the treasure of your tears, my whispered reassurances that I am with you, that I hear you, and that your healing has already begun. Perhaps the very first drop of grace you feel is a moment of unexpected peace that descends in the very midst of your weeping. You may be overwhelmed by a wave of grief, your body shaking with sobs, your mind consumed by the storm of your sorrow. And then, suddenly, inexplicably, a profound stillness enters the center of that storm. The tears may still be flowing, the ache may still be present, but at your very core, a quiet calm takes hold. It is a peace that does not deny the pain, but rather holds it, contains it, surrounds it with a new and sacred serenity. This, my child, is not your own doing. This is a direct impartation of my own peace, the very essence of my being, entering your heart as a divine comforter. It is the first drop of my grace, proving that my presence can bring stillness even to the most turbulent inner seas. You may also feel my comfort in the profound, though unseen, sensation of being held in your loneliest hour. As you weep in what feels like an empty room, you may suddenly feel a shift in the atmosphere around you, a sense of being enfolded, embraced, supported by a presence that is loving, strong, and infinitely tender. You may feel an invisible hand upon your shoulder, a warmth at your back, a quiet sense of a loving companion sitting with you in the silence, sharing your grief without needing to speak a word. This is not a figment of your imagination. My child, this is me, your God, drawing near and making my presence tangibly felt by your spirit. I am fulfilling my promise to be with you always, to be your comfort, to be the loving arms that hold you when you feel you're falling apart. This felt sense of being held is a precious drop of my grace, dissolving the bitterest aspect of your loneliness. Notice, too, if there is a slight lessening of your pain's sharpest edge. The wound that has been so raw, so exquisitely tender to the touch, may begin to feel subtly different. The piercing, stabbing quality of the pain may begin to dull into a deeper, more manageable ache. The intensity may recede, even for a short while, allowing you to catch your breath, to regain a sense of equilibrium. This is the effect of the healing balm of my love, the first drops of my grace beginning to soothe the inner inflammation, to calm the agitated nerves of your soul. This lessening of the pain's sharpest edge is a profound sign that the unseen work of mending, which we have spoken of, is indeed having its effect on your conscious experience. And within this process, my beloved, you may perceive the most delicate and beautiful sign of all the first, authentic flicker of a new and gentle hope. This is not a forced optimism, not an intellectual argument against your own sorrow. It is a quiet, organic stirring in the depths of your soul, a nascent belief that healing is truly possible, that wholeness is not a distant dream, that your sorrow will not be your final chapter. This hope is often born directly from the experience of my comfort. Having felt that moment of peace, having sensed my loving presence holding you, having experienced that slight easing of your pain, your heart begins to tentatively believe again. This flicker of hope is a precious drop of my grace, the very seed of your future joy, beginning to germinate in the tear-watered soil of your healing heart. These first drops of comforting grace are my answers to your most eloquent prayers, the prayers of your tears. Each one is a divine affirmation, a loving confirmation from my heart to yours. They are my way of saying, I hear you, my child. I see you. I am with you. Your tears have reached me, and my healing love is already flowing back to you in response. It is so important, my beloved, that you learn to recognize and receive these initial offerings of comfort. Your mind, so accustomed to the narrative of your pain, may be tempted to dismiss them. It was just a momentary calm. It was just my imagination. The pain is still there, so nothing has really changed. Do not allow these voices of doubt to rob you of the nourishment of my grace. When these moments come, receive them with a grateful heart. Acknowledge them as my gifts. Whisper your thanks. Thank you for that moment of peace. Thank you for that feeling of being held. By consciously receiving and giving thanks for these first drops, you create a more receptive vessel within your soul. You are telling your own heart and all of creation that you are ready to receive more. Your gratitude becomes a spiritual magnet, drawing more of my grace, more of my comfort, more of my peace into your experience. It is like a parched land that, upon feeling the first few drops of rain, seems to open itself up, eagerly awaiting the life-giving downpour that is to come. The journey of healing is a journey of increasing awareness of my love, my presence, my grace, and it often begins with these subtle, tender moments. They are the foundation upon which your complete restoration will be built. They are the proof that the alchemy of your sorrow is at work, transforming your pain into something new, something beautiful, something holy. So be attentive. My child, be watchful, be open, for the first drops of comforting grace are even now beginning to fall upon the parched land of your spirit. They are my treasured response to your treasured tears. The beautiful, undeniable beginning of your journey out of the valley of weeping and into the sunlit meadows of my profound and lasting peace. This grace does not always arrive in a predictable form. It may come as a sudden insight that reframes your entire situation, bringing an unexpected sense of relief. It may come through the compassionate words of a friend whose voice I use as my own to speak comfort to your heart. It may come as a surge of creative energy that provides a healthy outlet for your pain, and transforming it into art, into music, into poetry. My means are limitless, but the source is always the same, my unwavering, responsive love for you. Each drop of this comforting grace is also a strengthening agent. The peace makes you stronger to face the turmoil. The feeling of being held makes you stronger to face the loneliness. The lessening of the pain gives you more energy to engage with your healing. The flicker of hope fortifies your will to persevere. I am not just comforting you. I am empowering you, equipping you, step by gentle step, to walk out of your sorrow and into your strength. This is the beautiful reciprocity of our relationship. My child, you offer me the honest, unfiltered prayer of your tears, and I, in turn, offer you the real, substantive grace of my comfort. It is a holy exchange, a sacred transaction of love. You give me your pain, and I give you my peace. You give me your brokenness, and I give you my wholeness. Do not grow impatient with the gentleness of this process. The deepest healing is never rushed. Trust that these first drops are the beginning of a steady, life-giving rain that will, in my perfect time, completely saturate your soul, wash away all your sorrow, and cause a magnificent garden of joy to bloom in your heart. The rain of my grace has begun to fall. As you learn to recognize these moments, you will begin to live with a new kind of hope. It will not be a desperate hope, anxiously scanning the horizon, but a quiet, confident hope, attuned to the subtle evidences of my presence that are already here. You will become a treasure hunter, a seeker of these precious drops of grace in your daily experience. And as you seek, you will find, for I am lavishing them upon you. The experience of being in pain while also simultaneously experiencing my peace is a profound spiritual paradox. It is the place where heaven and earth meet within your own heart. It is the beginning of your understanding that your circumstances do not define your reality, but that my presence with you is the ultimate, unchanging truth. And this understanding is the key to a freedom that no sorrow can ever take from you. So receive these drops, my child. Open your heart to them. Let them be the proof you have longed for. Your tearful prayers have been heard. They have been treasured, and they are now being answered with the first, beautiful and life-giving drops of my comforting, healing grace. My precious child, as you begin to perceive the first tender drops of my comforting grace falling upon your heart in response to your weeping, as you recognize these subtle sensations as my loving answers to your most honest prayers, I now invite you to a new and profoundly liberating relationship with your own sorrow. For so long, you may have viewed your tears as an involuntary affliction, a sign of your weakness, a wave of emotion that overwhelms you against your will. But now, having understood that I treasure these tears as your most sacred prayers, you are invited to learn the art of offering them freely, of consciously transforming your weeping from a passive experience of suffering into an active, holy act of trust and communion with me. This, my beloved, is how you become a conscious co-worker with me in your own healing, by learning to offer the very substance of your pain as a sacred gift upon the altar of my love. This is a journey of releasing the shame of weeping. The world has taught you, has it not, that to be strong is to be stoic, that to be in control is to be tearless. You may have absorbed the subtle or overt messages that your tears are a sign of instability, of immaturity, of a lack of faith. You may have berated yourself for crying, seeing it as a personal failure, a submission to the darkness. This has caused you to build a dam within your own heart, to expend immense energy holding back the natural, cleansing flow of your own emotions for fear of judgment, both from others and from yourself. But I come to you today to dismantle that dam with my truth, to wash away that shame with my love. I tell you, my child, your tears are not a sign of your weakness. They are a sign of your profound humanity, your capacity to feel deeply, your tender and open heart. It takes immense courage to feel in a world that so often encourages numbness. It takes profound strength to allow your heart to break open, when the instinct is to armor it against all pain. Your tears are not a failure of faith. They are often the very expression of a faith that is real enough to be vulnerable before its God, a faith that dares to be honest about its own pain. I don't honor the hard heart that cannot weep. I cherish the soft, tender heart that is brave enough to let its sorrows flow. To release the shame of weeping is to embrace your own beautiful humanity as I embrace it, and to accept that your emotions, in all their intensity, are a sacred part of the being I created in love. As you release this shame, you can then learn the sacred practice of the conscious offering. This is the pivotal act that transforms weeping from a passive suffering into an act of prayer. When you feel the familiar welling up of sorrow, the prickling behind your eyes, the ache in your throat, instead of your old reflex to fight it, to suppress it, or to be carried away by it into despair, I invite you to pause. In that sacred moment, turn the gaze of your heart towards me, and with the conscious act of your will, Make an offering. You might whisper, "My God, this sorrow is here. I do not understand it, and I cannot carry it alone. I give it to you. I offer these tears to you as my prayer. Receive them. Hold them. Let them be a holy communion between my heart and yours." Do you see the profound shift in this? My beloved, in that moment, you are no longer a helpless victim of your emotions. You are a high priest of your own heart, taking the sacred substance of your own pain and placing it willingly, trustingly, upon my altar. This conscious act of offering transforms everything. It imbues your tears with a holy purpose. It changes your posture from one of desolate solitude to one of intimate communion. It is an act of profound faith, a declaration that you believe I am present, that you believe I am loving, and that you believe I'm capable of receiving your deepest pain and transforming it with my grace. Part of this practice involves creating a safe and sacred space for your sorrow. For too long, you may have been ambushed by your grief, its waves overwhelming you at unexpected moments. But you can now choose to be proactive in your relationship with your pain. You can set aside intentional time to be with your sorrow in my presence. You can create a sanctuary, perhaps in a quiet corner of your home, in nature, or simply within your own stilled heart, where you give yourself a permission to feel, to weep, to offer your pain to me without interruption, without fear of judgment. This is not about wallowing in self-pity. It is about honoring the reality of your heart, tending to your wounds with loving care, and intentionally bringing your pain into the healing light of my presence. This practice can transform grief from a chaotic force into a respected, though sometimes painful, guest, one with whom you can sit and commune in the safe company of your God. This requires you to trust me with your raw, unfiltered emotion. You may have felt that you needed to clean up your prayers for me, to present me with only your more faithful, hopeful, or positive feelings. But I don't desire your performance. My child, I desire your heart. I'm not afraid of your anger, your doubt, your despair, your ugliest, most agonizing sorrow. I prefer the raw, messy truth of your heart to the most eloquent, polite, but ultimately dishonest prayer. To offer your tears freely, to weep before me without reservation, is a supreme act of trust. It is trusting that my love is vast enough, my heart strong enough, my grace potent enough to handle the full force of your emotional reality. It is knowing that I will not turn away, that I will not be shocked, that I will not condemn, but that I will only, ever, draw closer in love. As you practice offering your tears freely, you will discover a new freedom, a new lightness. The immense energy you once expended on suppressing your emotions will now be available for your healing, for your growth, for your joy. You will find that tears, when offered as a conscious prayer, do not deplete you. They cleanse you. They do not leave you empty. They create a space within you to be filled with my peace. They are a holy river that, when allowed to flow, carries away the debris of old pain and waters the ground for new life. Imagine your heart is a sacred well, and your tears are the water within it. For a long time, you may have tried to keep a heavy stone lid upon this well, fearing what might happen if its contents were ever released. But this only caused the pressure to build, the water to stagnate. Now, with my help, you are learning to gently remove that stone lid, to allow the waters to be drawn up and offered to me. And in this offering, you will discover that the well is not finite. It is, in fact, a wellspring, connected to the infinite, underground river of my own being. And as you offer the waters of your sorrow, my living waters of grace flow back in, continuously cleansing, refreshing, and renewing your heart. This is the beautiful, sacred exchange that takes place when you learn to offer your tears freely. It is a journey from shame to sanctification, from suppression to sacred expression, from lonely suffering to intimate communion. It is one of the most profound and beautiful paths of healing a soul can walk. And I am with you, my beloved, in every step, celebrating every courageous act of your vulnerable heart, and treasuring, above all else, the holy, eloquent, and beautiful prayers that are your tears. The world may never understand this sacred transaction. It will continue to see tears as a sign of something broken. But you are being initiated into a deeper wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, which knows that true strength lies not in an unfeeling stoicism, but in the courage to feel deeply and to offer those feelings in love to me. This is a strength that is both profoundly human and divinely empowered. This practice will also change your relationship with time. You will no longer feel the impatient need to get over your grief. You will learn to honor its rhythm, to trust its process, knowing that your tears are not a sign of being stuck, but are an active, vital part of your movement towards wholeness. You are allowing the deep rivers of your soul to flow as they must, trusting that they are ultimately flowing toward the great ocean of my peace. When you offer your tears, you are also offering a profound gift to me. You are giving me your trust, which is the most precious thing you possess. You are giving me your authentic heart, which is the very thing I desire most. You are allowing me to be your God in the truest sense, your comforter, your healer, your beloved companion in sorrow. This brings me a joy that you cannot yet fully comprehend. So do not hold back. My child, the altar of my heart is always ready to receive your offering. The vessel of my love is always ready to receive your tears. Let them flow. Let them be your prayer. Let them be your release. Let them be the holy water that baptizes you into a new and more profound intimacy with the one who treasures your every tear, and who is, even now, transforming your deepest sorrow into your most radiant joy. This practice of freely offering your tears is a powerful act of self-love. You are ceasing to be at war with a part of yourself. You are making peace with your own human heart, with its beautiful, profound capacity for both joy and sorrow. You are declaring that you are worthy of comfort, worthy of healing, worthy of being held in your pain. This self-acceptance is a monumental step towards the wholeness I have always intended for you. And as you become more comfortable with your own tears, you will become a safer space for the tears of others. You will no longer be frightened or made uncomfortable by their sorrow. You will be able to sit with them in their weeping, not as a fixer, but as a quiet, compassionate presence, offering the silent, powerful solace of a heart that understands. Your own healed relationship with your tears becomes a healing gift to the world. This is the beautiful, outward rippling effect of your own inner work. So trust this process. My beloved, it is a holy and transformative path. Your tears are not your enemy. They are your sacred messengers, your liquid prayers, your pathway to a deeper communion with me, and the very element I am using to bring about your most profound and lasting healing. Offer them freely. I am waiting to receive them. My precious child, as you have so courageously learned to offer your tears freely, to transform your weeping from a solitary act of suffering into a sacred act of communion with me, a most glorious and beautiful miracle begins to unfold. The very ground of your heart, the parched land of your spirit that was once watered by the bitter salt of your sorrow, now reveals the true purpose of that holy rain. For in receiving your tears, in mingling them with my grace, I have transformed them into living water. And now, my beloved, behold the magnificent result, the flourishing of a sacred garden, a garden watered by your own redeemed grief, where new life, profound joy, and a deep, empathetic love begin to bloom with an undeniable and breathtaking beauty. The very place of your deepest sorrow is becoming the source of your most abundant life. For so long, you looked upon the landscape of your heart and saw only a desert, a testament to what you had lost, a place where you believed nothing beautiful could ever grow again. But the tears you offered, the liquid prayers I so deeply treasure, were not tears of destruction. They were the very seeds of restoration and the water for a new kind of harvest. The alchemy of my love has been at work, and now the barren ground gives way to verdant, vibrant life. This is the beautiful, divine paradox. The grief that you thought was an ending has become the very foundation for your most fruitful and glorious new beginning. Look now at the new life that is sprouting in the sacred garden. Where there was once the stillness of despair, there is now the gentle, persistent growth of resilient hope. This hope is not a fragile desert flower, but a deeply rooted plant, its strength drawn from the very sorrows that have enriched the soil of your soul. It is a hope that has known the darkness and is therefore not afraid of it, a hope that has been tested and has proven true. This new life also manifests as a renewed spiritual vitality, a sense of my spirit flowing through you like a gentle river, bringing nourishment and refreshment to every part of your being. The old weariness begins to recede, replaced by a quiet, enduring strength, the strength of a garden that is well watered from a deep and inexhaustible source. And oh, my child, behold the exquisite blossoms of joy that are beginning to open in this garden of your heart. These are not the loud, boisterous flowers of a superficial happiness, but the deep, richly colored, and beautifully fragrant blossoms of a joy that has been earned through endurance. A joy that knows the value of light because it has known the darkness. You may find yourself experiencing moments of pure, and simple delight in a beautiful piece of music, in the laughter of a friend, in the quiet beauty of a sunrise. This is the seed of joy, which I planted in the very heart of your sorrow, now unfurling its petals, releasing its sacred fragrance into the atmosphere of your life. This is a joy that is profound, resilient, and deeply, deeply peaceful. From the trees that are now growing strong in this garden, watered by your grief, you will begin to gather the most precious fruits of compassion and wisdom. This is one of the most beautiful outcomes of your redeemed sorrow. My beloved, because you have known the depths of your own pain, because you have wept your own tears of loss and loneliness. You now possess an extraordinary gift, the gift of true empathy. The fruit of your compassion is sweet and nourishing, and you will find yourself offering it freely to others who are hurting. You will become a safe haven, a source of profound comfort and understanding. For your heart now speaks the universal language of suffering and of healing. And with this compassion comes wisdom, not the cold wisdom of the intellect, but the warm, embodied wisdom of a soul that has journeyed through the fire and has learned the deep, eternal truths of my love, my grace, and my faithfulness. The very landscape of your inner world is being transformed. The desert is becoming a paradise. The parched ground is becoming a fertile field. The place of your weeping is becoming a garden of delight, a sanctuary of peace, a source of life, not only for you, but for all who are blessed to enter your presence. Your life, my child, is becoming an oasis, a living testament to my power to bring forth abundant beauty from the very places of our deepest pain. This garden is a co-creation, a masterpiece born of your courageous vulnerability and my redemptive love, your willingness to offer your tears, to trust me with your most profound sorrows, was the act of faith that allowed this miraculous transformation to take place. You did not run from your grief. You did not harden your heart against it, but you brought it to me. And in doing so, you allowed the bitterest waters of your life to be made sweet by my grace. As you walk now in this inner garden, my child, let its beauty be a constant reminder of my faithfulness. Let the fragrance of its blossoms fill you with joy. Let the taste of its fruits nourish your soul and the souls of others through you. And let the quiet, peaceful presence of me, your divine gardener, walking with you in the cool of the day, be your ultimate comfort and your everlasting delight. The world may look at scars and see only a history of wounding, but I, and now you, look upon the garden of your heart and see the glorious, life-giving outcome of those very wounds, redeemed and transformed by love. Your tears have not been wasted. My beloved, they have been the most sacred of offerings, the holy water that has made your desert bloom, the liquid prayers that I have answered with a harvest of unimaginable beauty, a garden that will flourish for all eternity. Every plant in this garden tells a part of your story, a story of my grace. The tall, strong tree of your resilience grew from the soil where you felt most weak. The gentle, fragrant flower of your forgiveness blossomed in the very spot where the thorn of betrayal once pierced you. The deep, clear pool of your peace now settles in the very crater that was blasted open by a past explosion of grief. This is the artistry of my redemption. I do not merely cover over the desolate places. I transform them into the most beautiful features of the new landscape. This garden will continue to grow and evolve. New flowers will bloom. New fruits will ripen. New levels of beauty will be revealed as you continue to walk with me. The process of my grace is an ongoing one. The sorrow of yesterday has become the beauty of today, and the beauty of today is but a foretaste of the even greater glory that is to come. Your very presence in the world will now carry the atmosphere of this garden. People will be drawn to your peace, nourished by your wisdom, comforted by your compassion, and inspired by your quiet, resilient joy. You will not need to speak of your past sorrows for others to feel the depth and authenticity of your spirit. The garden that has been cultivated within you will emanate its own sacred fragrance, a fragrance that speaks of a pain that has been met with love, a sorrow that has been transformed into beauty, a life that is a testament to the profound truth that even the most bitter tears, when offered to a loving God, can become the very source of a miraculous and life-giving garden. This is the fulfillment of my promise to you. I have heard the prayers of your tears. I have treasured them, and I have answered them by transforming the very landscape of your soul. The long season of weeping is yielding to a new season of joyful reaping. And the harvest, my child, will be abundant, beautiful, and everlasting. The beauty of this garden is that it is uniquely yours, yet its source is entirely mine. It is the perfect marriage of your human experience and my divine grace. It could not have been created without your tears, your sorrow, your courageous willingness to feel deeply, nor could it have been created without my love, my healing touch, my alchemical power to redeem and to restore. It is our co-creation, my beloved, a testament to the beautiful, transformative power of our intimate relationship. As you learn to live within this inner garden, to draw your daily peace and joy from its beauty, your need for the world's approval, for external validation, will continue to diminish. You will know your own worth, your own beauty, because you have witnessed it blossom from the inside out. You will carry your own sanctuary within you, a place of peace and refreshment that no outer circumstance can touch. This is the profound self-sufficiency that is born of a deep and utter dependency on me, your divine source and loving gardener. Walk now in your garden. My child, enjoy its beauty, rest in its shade, partake of its fruit, and know that it is but a foretaste of the eternal paradise I have prepared for you. The bitter salt of your sorrow has indeed been transformed into a place of everlasting sweetness, of abundant life, of radiant, holy beauty. As the gentle fragrance of your own healed and blossoming heart now surrounds you, my cherished one, let the profound peace of this truth settle upon your spirit. The long and painful season of weeping is yielding its sacred, beautiful fruit. Your sorrow was never a sign of your weakness, but a testament to the depth of your love and the tenderness of your heart. Remember that every tear you shed was a precious prayer, caught and treasured in the very heart of your God. Remember the sacred alchemy that transformed your pain into compassion, your grief into a fertile ground for a new life. And behold now the beautiful garden that is emerging within you, a testament to your endurance and to my unfailing, redemptive love. This garden is your new reality. My child, it is a place of peace, of joy, of fruitfulness, where you can walk in intimate companionship with me, your divine gardener, for all your days. Rest now in the beauty of what has been created through your tears. You are beloved. You are whole. And your life is a magnificent garden, forever watered by my grace.